question in my mind about her commitment to addressing climate change. Besides the fact that she has an extraordinary track record on the issue, it's what she believes, and she understands fundamentally what a threat climate change is to this country and to the earth. And any suggestion that she is in anyone's pocket on the issue of climate change or on any other issue is flat out false and just inappropriate in my view. I don't buy it. I don't see evidence of it. I find this to be a charge that just doesn't hold water. If you look at what she has done, the time in the Senate where she made a real priority of supporting renewable energy legislation, her focus throughout on the question of the kinds of imbalance we had in policy that favored fossil fuels over renewables. She fought on many, many fronts to right that situation, to fix that imbalance, to focus on renewables instead of fossil fuel. And throughout her career, she's proven that this is a central focus, and that's what's so surprising about the allegations. There's a very substantial and consistent track record here. In 2005, she voted against an energy bill that some critics call, quote, a piñata of perks for energy industries. She voted against it because she thought it was wrong in terms of the changes we had to make to address climate change. So that's her Senate record. I think even more striking is her record as Secretary of State, where we saw for years and years this country unable to make a fundamental breakthrough on climate change over several administrations. What Secretary Clinton laid the groundwork for, what she did with President Obama, was the fundamental breakthrough that led to the Paris Agreement in December. What they were able to do in moving China in particular, but also other key nations like India and Brazil, previously had been unreachable. And is the only way we can fundamentally address climate change is to have all the major nations of the earth working in coalition. So that to me is proof of how urgently she understands the issue, how capable she is at addressing the issue of climate change. Look, this whole election comes down to not only the values and the ideas this country needs, and I think everyone on this call knows, I believe we need to go a profoundly more progressive path in this country. I think we need fundamental change, and I think Hillary's platform would take us there. But it's not just the vision, it's the ability to get the vision done. And she has been very clear in both the Senate and as Secretary of State that she has the ability to actually fundamentally address this issue. I would also note her platform calls clearly for an end to tax breaks to fossil fuel companies. And like her positions on Wall Street, where her policies, her vision for reining in Wall Street is stronger than Senator Sanders, and that's something that has been agreed to by many people, most notably Paul Krugman. But on this one, she's going right at the tax breaks that the oil and gas companies have depended on for decades, and that Democrats and Republicans alike didn't take away from them. She is being very clear in her platform. She's quite sharp in her platform about the fact that those tax breaks have to end, and the focus has to be on renewable energy and the jobs that will come with it, particularly setting the national goal of 500 million solar plant panels installed. That's an extraordinary and important goal, and certainly a statement by someone who wants to move us away from a reliance on fossil fuels. I would say parenthetically that some of what she said in the last few weeks about the fact that we have to end our reliance on coal, that was politically courageous. I can say as someone who's run for office and managed campaigns, I'm sure there's plenty of people who wouldn't have had the guts to say that we have to get away from coal and envision a future after coal in the middle of primaries in states across the nation. But she said it very clearly and very boldly. So I will conclude, and happy to take questions, but I'll just say that the allegations here just don't hold water. It just don't make sense. Hillary did not take, and her campaign did not take contributions from oil and gas companies and their PACs. It's quite clear. The notion that small number of individuals who gave contributions who were employees of those companies would somehow sway her judgment just doesn't hold water. And what we should be talking about as Democrats is how are we going to fundamentally address climate change, how are we going to get away from fossil fuels once and for all and fundamentally turn this nation towards renewables, and the massive difference between Democrats and Republicans on this issue, because the Republican candidates are still effectively climate change denialists. And I think this has been a good year for Democrats on many levels. I've many times praised the debates and the dialogue between Secretary Clinton and Senator Sanders as substantive and high-minded and asking important questions and raising important ideas that this nation needs to debate. I've many times praised Senator Sanders for some of the ideas he's put forward and some of the ways he has moved the discussion in this country in a positive direction. But this attack is not becoming of him, and it's not becoming of that movement to bring about more progressive change. And I think we should just get back to the issues. Happy to take questions.